Hello, everybody. Thank you again. Welcome. This is Chisom, Bethel Chisom Anthony. I'm founder of Grow with Chisom. And this is another edition or another episode of Conversations Towards a Better Liberia. Thank you so much for being here. If you're going to see this broadcast after now, please feel free to ask any questions that you'd like to ask, and then you would always get an answer. Would always, respond to you, immediately or in the same day. Thank you so much. So joining me today is Ambassador Derek Poa Tolopala. Okay, so I'm just going to let him do his introductions and talk about who he is and what he does. Mr. Ambassador Derek Poa, please.
Thank you ever so much, Chisman. Thank you ever so much for affording me the opportunity to be on your platform at this time. So, the name remains constant. I'm Derek Puatolokwada. And of course, I hail from Bone County. I'm a proud Liberian. I'm also a journalist, a broadcast journalist as a profession. I worked with the Liberty Radio, and I've been there for quite a while now. And as a broadcaster, I've been able to host my own show that we've been doing it for quite a period of time now, and we've been able to interact with a lot of people. And today, I'm grateful to be on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For welcome again to this conversation towards a better Liberia. And today, you are an on-air personality. You are the first, on-air personality I've ever had the pleasure of hosting. Welcome again. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing or giving your time to have, you know, join this conversation. It is conversation towards a better Liberia is a series of conversations that we are going to have. Some of them are hard conversations that people, shy away from, or people just as make assumptions about. But we are going to have these conversations because when we have these conversations, we can now start forging a new path, thinking, clearly towards the direction of, growth, towards the direction of a better Liberia. Very quickly, you are on air personality. Radio has been a very, very powerful broadcast tool in Liberia, for over the years, even from when, the war started, all the way till the end of it, even up to now. Radio has been an essential tool. And, you know, globally, even podcasts now everywhere on social media, we see podcasting. People are doing podcasts. Even we are hoping to grow into that. Into a very viable podcast show that have conversations around a lot of things. And you know so basically, radio gave birth to podcasting. Today, talk about how is radio an alternative tool, especially in a space or in a place like Liberia. How is it important, in terms of or in the context of branding, marketing, influence, and civil engagement? Influence, meaning influence from any part, but basically civil engagement, influence, of any kind, of any sort, and branding and marketing. How is radio an alternative tool?
Okay. Uh, Once again, thank you. So, how is radio an alternative in terms of marketing, branding? I think that's the question, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, with years now, radio have been a very strong communicational tools, a tools that have been used to communicate with people across the parts of the country, yet in Liberia. And with radio, there are things that the radio go on doing that it has to do with sharing of information. That's the first thing. The key purpose of the radio is to communicate with people. to communicate with people. So the radio can be used for the betterment of a country. It can also be used to divide people. With the radio, you have a set audience, not like the social media nowadays. With the social media nowadays, you cut across not just Liberians. If you have to podcast, you go across just meeting a set audience. So with the social media, you don't have a set audience, but with the radio, you have a set audience. And with this set audience, you can go on. The first thing when you are broadcasting, you have to understand the contents of those things that you are putting out. What conversation are you having? And then you identified your audience. So those are the first few things we do with broadcast. And broadcasting, it's so unique in itself because you have a set audience and you know what you are taking to them. And then you have the chance to interact with them. You get their inputs on issues. So now you use broadcast, as I said, to either build or to damage. You use broadcast to build or to damage. You heard about the Rwanda issue, right? Today, we can remember some years back, a journalist sat on the radio. He said, everyone will have to eat potato grains, and we had the whole country going on, everybody eating potato grain. And the next time we heard somebody said, the waters in the well going to get dry, and everybody. So radio, it's traditional communication tools, but it's still of essence. It's still important. It's very good. It's very strong in terms of marketing your business, marketing whatever. Because now we know the world is evolving, technology wise. The world is evolving, but it's still slowed in our country now. Liberian, we don't have a lot of Liberians who are so uh, educated to this social media thing. Most Liberians only know about the social media because of Facebook, to post pictures, do live video of themselves on specific events. But we still have a huge amount of people who still listen to radio because it has to do you just putting your radio on and then that is. But for the social media, you have to get a data. Not everybody got the time now to get data. Not everybody understand what social media unless you guys continue to do that. So now, if you're using a radio for a marketing purpose, trust me, you have you're going to get a huge turnout to that one market. I hope you're understanding me. I don't know if we're getting in line.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, of course.
yeah. So you have a very set audience that you're going to communicate with. You have huge people who still listen to radio nowadays. So now coming to broadcast, the part of broadcasting that came up with podcasting, that nowadays I see a lot of people doing podcasting. It's the part that has to do with show hosting. Everyone wants to be a show host on social media nowadays. So it came through hosting the entertainment show, like announcers. Announcers are the ones who have to be given the credits because announcers can brand in a market. Announcers can brand in a market. It is not just about playing the music. You play the music, you get the audience attention, and then you can use that time to sell to a market. So as a radio personality, instead of just sitting on the radio and playing music, I can use that time to talk about a particular brand because the people are already being entertained because broadcasting has to do with entertainment, education, a whole lot of stuff. But the key things are entertainment and education.
Thank you so much. This is powerful stuff. Um, so basically, like you said, you made mention of some very key things. You stated that radio, is a tool is a traditional tool for broadcasting. It has been existing for so many years. And radio is also essential for targeted market, for and also for broadcasting key messages that's essential for peace and security. You realize that whenever there is civil unrest, people depend so much on the radio. Whenever there is how do you call it, whenever there is maybe a coup d'etat in some of these countries, the military, they take charge, and then they go immediately to hold, or safeguard any information that is going out through the radio, because with radio you can quickly raise up forces and energy and people, and then you can also, with radio, you can divide. So this means that radio have definitely become a strategic tool for influencing people. Now, do you think that in Liberia, influencers or people who need to use radio properly are doing this, or do you think that it's just another case of abuse?
So, in Liberia, a lot of people, we are not actually using the radio in most cases for what should be done. The radio is to spread messages that are very essential to the growth and development of every country. The radio is to share messages that are essential to the growth and development of every country. But in most cases in Liberia, we have it for the wrong reasons, because the reason for which our radio is not helping to spread positive messages is because majority of those who have these radio stations are basically politicians. So they use these radio stations that broadcasters go on and to broadcast in the interest of those politicians. But in other parts of the world, the radio is used for entertainment, is used for education, is used for broadcasting programs that are of interest to the nation's growth. But in our country, we have a lot of politicians owning radio stations more than a journalist, being able to own a radio station. Now, for me, if I'm to own a radio station with the level of training I've had, and I know why it's important to have a radio, and I know the context of programs I'm to host on a radio, I think I would do better with it than those that are owning the radio stations now. Majority of our radio stations in Liberia are owned by politicians. So you go on hearing people using hit messages. And radio is very powerful. The voice is a wave. Once spilled out, it cannot be revoked. It is not like a writing communication that I send to you that I can say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I do a follow up, or I erase it, or I delete it from our messengers account." No, when I say it, it's gone. So I think people are using radio in Liberia for, in most cases, for the wrong reason. One, to carry on negative influence. Today they say date, tomorrow they say that, and in most cases the radio is not speaking or portraying anything of integrity these days. It's not portraying anything of integrity these days. I think the radio should be used for promoting entertainment, promoting health, promoting education. This is what the radio should be doing. This is what the state broadcast radio should be doing. This is what an independent radio should be doing. But in most cases, it's not like that here in Liberia. The radio is a very powerful tool, a very powerful tool. And in Liberia, it's very, very powerful because you have people in other parts of the counties who don't even have smartphone, but they can switch on the radio and they get people and the message going across. So I'm telling you, if we are using radio for the best reasons, uh, Liberia, we're going far. I think we should be promoting. People feel news is so much about the wrong thing. No, the news is not so much about the wrong thing. We need to talk the good things. We need to sell the markets. And because the way we've labeled the radio, the broadcast radio, this is the reason for which businesses are taking interest in us. How many commercials do you hear on the radio aside from Lone Star and Orange? How many commercials? In other parts of the world, people do serious business with them on the TV, on the broadcast, the radio. In other parts of the world, people advertise their businesses because a huge amount of people listen to the radio. So we are not using it for the right reason, and it's wrong.
How can on-air personalities, very quickly, how can on-air personalities use their platform, or use radio to promote peace, to promote meaningful conversations, to promote entrepreneurship, looking having everything that you have just mentioned in, the Liberian setting, having everything being considered, right? How can today's on-air personalities, people like you, use radio as, that tool to promote entrepreneurship, to promote business, to promote peace, to promote, meaningful conversations that, is profitable to the average Liberian, and that is also going to foster a better Liberia. How can radio be used?
So now, firstly, we will have to, we as on air personalities nowadays, the younger ones that are coming up, we need to get out of our comfort zone first. We need to get this mindset that the radio is about dealing with someone. Going against somebody, say, "Oh, I dealt with him." It's not. I want to deal with him on my show. I think we need to move from that place that I dealt with him. Mm? And then we need to come up and start being more creative. We need to. It's good to sit on the old mat, but not everything you have to take from the old mat. Not because we came up seeing people blasting on the radio, doing all of their programs, and it's just we need to take Liberia, our broadcast, just from political show. If we want to do good marketing, if we want to get step up, we need to get away from doing you know political shows. We need to go to the point of doing entertainment shows. We need shows in the morning that someone can wake up and they have things their day to day, their happy side about them. We need to get out. We got to step out of the box. There are more things out of the box than what it is inside. So we need to stop the mindset of the only way people feel like the only way they can get money is to go on buy muffin. People know you can have an entertainment show, a comedy show on the radio. You wake up in the morning, you have a comedy show, and then you can go to people because you have the audience. Those people that phone in tells you that people are listening. You go to those businesses, get them. If somebody's producing a mineral water, that mineral water can be promoted on my show. I need to get a show that promotes a lot of good businesses on. Let's move on just some money. Get one politician on my show, interview politician. No, we need to get out. Let's leave the way back start of radio broadcasting. Announcers to themselves. They need to just move from the place of just playing music every day. We need to go out. We need to we need to get involved with event planners. We need to bring event planners on our platforms. We need to go out to comedians. We need to go out to musicians. It cannot be the normal thing. It cannot be business as usual. Only politicians will run to. And what we fail to know is that musicians can bring more money to my show than a politician. Musician will bring more money too. It will give you more audience. People getting tired with wake up every day and they hear one person stole money. No, people need to stop hearing that. Let people hear that aside from politics, there are more things happening in our music industry. How many of us know our Liberian actors and actresses? We need a platform that can brand them. And with that platform, we need to stop just playing music whole day. We need to get a show that we can talk with our audience. And then we need to go around ECOWAS around here. Get to them, get people on our show. We need to brand a show that talk peace. All the journalists cannot do the same thing. We need creative and innovative journalists. If we should step up, if we should brand, if we should do peace, we can't keep inciting violence because every time you bring a politician on the show, he says things that he wants in his interest. Today he's for you. The next day when two of you are not together, he go on the other side, and it's causing violence. Because if I am you, Tony, and I are friends today, and we get split, there is another bad blood for you, for me in your supporters. But entertainment will close everything down. We need to start talking about, oh, Tony is hosting a music festival. I must applaud the organizers for the gathering. We need a show that when you go to the gathering, we get stories from there. We talk about how the entertainment was. How was it? Like how we went there. We saw we need a kind of platforms. I see them on Cyclone, I admire them. I see them on DSTV, I admire them. And when I see them, when I'm listening to international wires and I hear those kind of shows, it really motivate me. We gotta stop. Let's move from the old ways of broadcasting. Let's come to the real way. Let's promote Liberian music. Let's visit our own shows. Let's go for the awards. And after we've attended the awards, let's come on our radio and discuss how it was. Then people will start growing more interest into visiting our awards.
I like how you hijacked this show to talk about how the Liberian entertainment sector can literally grow, organically using radio in Liberia. And what you said is excellent. It happens, it is
Thank you.
happening in a lot of countries out there, and and it's happening. There are radio stations that are dedicated for politics, and there are radio stations that are dedicated for science, for education, radio stations that are dedicated for comedy, radio stations that are dedicated programs that are dedicated for every other aspect of life, for health, for law. Yesterday, I was joined by an attorney, who is doing well in the Liberian legal system, here as
Okay.
a lawyer. And we talked about law and business, and it was really really exciting, and it's sad that people who depend on radio for information are starved on perpetually of these very key and vital conversations that are going to lead towards a better Liberia. I think that as we also see the advancement of podcasts, I think probably we need to see how we can innovatively work with radios or radio stations, and how we can use radio as a tool for positive influence instead of negative influence, for it as a tool for branding, for marketing of business and entrepreneurship, and a tool for peace. Thank you so much, for joining us. We cannot go any further than this, but it's been a pleasure having you. Um, I hope that we continue these conversations, around using radio, to for positiveness, using radio, to grow the economy, directly and indirectly, using radio to influence better, as I'm moving away from the old ways of using radio, which is for warmongering, violence, politicking, which is not even healthy for our youth today, and even for every one of us. Thank you so much, Ambassador Derek Poa Tolopala.
Mhm.
It was nice having you. So thank you guys for joining in. If you have questions, please ask your questions in the comment section, and we are going to do our best to answer you when we see them. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.